What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video. Hope you guys are all having a great weekend so far. It's currently Sunday for me as well. It's about 1:15 in the afternoon. I'm gonna film this video. I'm gonna edit it and get it uploaded for you guys immediately. Today's video is going to be just a recap from basically my entire real estate flipping career from 2019 into basically today. We have 6 total projects that we actually completed from start to finish as of right now. We have 3 that are still in escrow. We have 1 that we're actually selling right now that's in escrow that's actually closing in a couple days. It's the Chandler house, but I did not want to talk about that. I did not want to make a video on it until it officially closes. And then we have 2. One of them's my personal property that I'm closing on in 2 weeks, and we have another one that we're closing on September 2nd that we're going to start renovations on as well. So we have a couple active projects. We basically started our flipping career in 2019. Some of you guys may have thought that we've been doing it a little bit longer, but we actually bought our first flip only a couple months after I actually had bought my first ever rental property. Keep in mind, I had no knowledge of the real estate game before this. 2019 was basically the first year that I really started to invest myself and try to gain knowledge of the real estate market. I was also not living in the state of Arizona at the time. I was not doing real estate full time. Obviously, I had a completely different career in Los Angeles, California. So this first flip that I'm going to talk about right now was the most difficult one in the terms of me not knowing what was going on, me not having a set of contractors or people that I can connect with. And then the third thing on top of that, I was actually not living in the same state we were flipping, which made it even harder. So sit back, relax, enjoy the video, guys. Hopefully it's a quick one. I actually am going to make this a quick one today. So we're just going to kind of run through a little bit of the project, the scope of work on each and every one, and then obviously the profits at the end of this. So this was the first flip we ever done. We actually got this through a wholesaler. It was in Peoria. We bought it November 4th, 2019 for $227,000. We sold this house 78 days later. Basically from start to finish, this project was 78 days for $293,000. If we were to hold on to this property and still had it today, we can probably sell it for about $450,000, which just goes to show what the market's doing right now. This was a light rehab at $16,000. The biggest issue was me being out of state, obviously. It took 78 days. $320 a day is what we made on this property, and we made a total profit of $25,000. I was not an active real estate agent at this time, so if I was an active agent and I actually represented us or our LLC on this, we would have made closer to $30,000 because I would have cut out some commission. But actually our mentor, Lenny, actually represented us, so I'm happy that he got commission on it because he helped us tremendously, not only for this project but just in general. Here's some before pictures, strictly cosmetic. Really happy with how this one turned out. You guys will be able to see as we progress into these projects, kind of the colors and the designs that we do are a little bit different. We did a lot more gray tones last year in 2019 because that's kind of what was more in. But then as you guys see some more recent projects, you guys will be able to see that I kind of changed to more of a beige-ish tone, which I really like a lot more. Obviously, everything's a personal preference. So we made $25,000 on that project, and then this was our actual second flip we've ever done. We had a huge gap from our first to second flip because once again, I was not in real estate. I did not have my license. I was not living in the state. I was still not living in the state for this flip, so we just weren't actively looking. This was actually an on-market deal where I had the listing agent actually represent both sides of the deal, which obviously incentivized her to work with us because she got double the commission. I think she was gonna make $6,000, but she ended up making $12,000 because she represented both of us. We paid all cash, closed in 2 weeks, and that was basically the only reason why the seller wanted to work with us, is because she was out of state and just wanted an easy close. Oftentimes that's what happens with these distressed sellers, is that's how you get a good deal, is you're just coming in and kind of helping them out by closing cash and making it stress-free. $213,000 purchase price. We sold it for $275,000. This house now is worth $340,000. Just a year later. We put in about the same amount of rehab. The biggest issue we had here was specifically the painters, not contractors in general, but the painters. This is the actual house where I stopped using them because they actually completely messed up the timeline, and on top of that, they just did a horrible job. That's why you always want to do a final walkthrough if you're able to with your contractors once the job's done before you pay them, so then they can do all their whatever repairs or fixes they need to do before they get paid. Because if you pay them before and then you realize all this, I guarantee you'll have a really tough time getting them back, which we actually didn't get them back, so I cut my ties with this specific painting crew. 73 days on this project, $473 a day, which equated to $34,500 profit. And I did represent us on the sell end because by the time we sold this house, I actually was licensed. licensed, excuse me. So this was strictly cosmetic. Once again, we just did basically, you guys will be able to see, paint. We watered the crap out of this grass to get it green, and you guys can see how gray this house is, a lot more gray tones than what we're doing nowadays. We're starting to see a slight shift in just what people want to see. But overall, really good looking house, super small house, which was great. We love working on those small ones because they're much easier. And then we go into our third flip, which you guys have most likely have seen on this channel. This is when I actually started filming. The second Mesa flip we've ever had, which was our third flip total. By far the biggest renovations. We tore down walls. It was not just cosmetic. We had to do a lot of electrical, plumbing updates because it was an older house. We tore down some walls. By far, like, my most, like, I don't know, the best renovation we've ever done was by far in this house, just because of the overall transformation is just incredible. If someone were to ask me, like, what's your favorite project you've ever done, show me pictures, I would go to this flip right here. We bought for $279, sold for $421. We actually were escrow on two different buyers. The first buyer actually bailed, or due to financing they had to cancel, so they sacrificed or lost their EMD, which was $4,000. So we actually closed on this house essentially $425,000, $61,000 in rehab, 144 days, $425 a day. The reason why it was a little bit lower is because it took so long. It took way longer than what we needed, but I was still back and forth between LA and Arizona at the time, so it wasn't my full-time gig. Was trying to like get this done. Total profit of $61,000. Look at these transformations. This wall right here is actually what we ended up taking down. As you guys will see, we did full rehabs on the bathroom. This wall right here is what we took down on the other side of the kitchen. This bathroom, we drywalled this doorway up right here and just did a complete walk-in shower transformation. That one looks really good. And then this is kind of like a mid-renovation rehab. We actually did try to list this house before we actually renovated it, and we had a lot of active showings, but just everyone said it was a little bit too much work. If we had sold it before we did the rehab, we would have sold it within 2 weeks and made way less than 61 grand, but it would have been way easier. But I'm actually glad we took this on because we learned so much through the entire renovation process. So here's the after pictures. So happy with how this turned out. I love the colorways. This is when we started going a little bit more brown undertone on the flooring, which I think just adds just enough contrast to like all the white and the grays that we usually been doing lately, or that everyone's been doing lately. Full walk-in shower. This is the doorway that we closed off. We just got a bigger vanity. Black accents. This was the torn down wall with an island in the hood vent. It just opened up the layout a lot more into the living room, so everything flowed. We also put this barn sliding door in right here. Before, there was no access to the laundry room unless you went through the garage, so this looks way better, and just an overall very happy with this project. Moving on to now that we're starting to take this on full time, we started getting a little bit more volume. So this was this year as well. This was our first overlapping project. The Mesa house that I just showed you and this house, we actually had a little bit of overlap. So we had basically had money out for two houses, which we were totally fine with. We're more than willing to start taking on multiple projects at once. Yeah, we bought this for $306 from a wholesaler. We ended up closing way more than what we thought. We ended up getting about 5% over list price, over asking price on this. We listed it for $350. We got $368 on it. Really small rehab, by far our smallest project, our quickest project. This was just in and out. Barely did anything. We did paint, carpet, landscape, and then we were done. So we had a 49-day project with the 30-day close. So it was about a 2-week renovation, which equated to a much higher profit per day at $858 a day, or $38,500. Which for less than 2 months is a pretty good profit, I would say. You guys will be able to see the before and after is not a lot different, or it actually looks a lot different, but truly we didn't do a whole lot. We got new carpet, painted the outside, touched up the landscaping quite a bit. Besides that, we didn't do anything to the kitchen. We didn't paint the cabinets. We didn't get new countertops. We didn't get new appliances. We left everything. Here's the backyard as well, and then the after shots right here. It just looks much better. For spending $9 grand, people would think we spent like 30 grand on here, but like a little bit lighter and more neutral colorways on the walls just opens up the floor plan a little bit more. New carpet obviously makes it look better and smell better. It smelled pretty bad in there before, but overall, great little fun project. Moving on to the picture from work. Sorry, my client's texting me because they want to put an offer in, so I'll have to do that after this. Now this one is by far the biggest profit we've ever made. I actually just made a video on this. So Paradise Valley, $2.332 million is what we bought it for. We sold it About 4 months later for 3.175 million. Holding costs were a lot higher just because of how big the house was. The biggest issue here was the price point and just how narrow or how small our demographic or our buyer list was on this. The renovations only took about 30 days, but it sat on the market for much longer than anything else. Obviously, we knew that. We were aware of it just because of the price point. Profit per day, $3,518 a day, making a total profit $482,000. It may seem like a lot, but we had a lot of risk in this property. It was a lot more risk. It wasn't a cookie cutter house where we can where we knew what we were going to sell it for. It really just depended on what someone wanted to pay for it. So here are the pictures. Yeah, you guys can see we didn't do a whole lot, but obviously how big the house was, it cost a lot of money. And now the Goodyear house, this is probably my second favorite flip just because from start to finish I was involved with it. $330,000 purchase price, $331,000. We got it direct to seller, which is why we got such a good deal on it. We listed it for $499,500. We got $500,000 out of it. Expenses were $53,500. This was on the definitely one of the most transformed properties. I'd say the second most transformed property we've ever done. It was a full cosmetic rehab, obviously. Timeline was 65 days. You guys can tell now we're starting to get a little bit faster with it. $1,451 a day, which equated to about $94,500. I love this transformation. I loved the flooring. I loved everything about this house and how we did it. This was one of our most recent ones, as you guys know. At this time, I was fully invested in real estate out here. It's my full-time job now, so this project was definitely my full attention when we did it. Some after pictures. We staged this as well, which looks incredible. The bathroom transformation, my favorite bathroom transformation we've ever done. We did a frameless glass walk-in shower right here, tiled up all the way up, which just made the bathroom look so much bigger for an extra $1,000, I think, instead of capping it off at the shower height, and the kitchen right here as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's a recap on basically our flipping career as of right now. We have big goals next year. Now that I'm actually here full time, we're going to try to take on 24 projects next year, which is a big goal, but obviously we have to set goals in order to try to achieve them. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do appreciate it. Please drop a like and enjoy the rest of your week.